principle are used to help in the individual level decision making. So let's talk about like individual firms, individual consumers, individual suppliers. So we are going to talk about that in detail and how these concepts can be supported by various tools over here. So we are going to use like a lot of graphs, and graphs are like important economic part only. And we are going to prepare a schedule for it, charts, and a lot of numerical analysis can be done to show that how you're going to apply these concepts over here. Now, that's all about the subject. Now, as you know that that AP is all about the skill based exam. So what are these skills that we are going to learn from your AP microeconomics over here? So there are like four major skills that we are going to talk about. So first one is your principles and model over here. So here you are going to define it, that what economic principle over here you're talking about. Let's say you're talking about law of diminishing returns. Okay. And sometimes what happens, they can ask you, they can give you one example over here. And in that particular example, they can ask you that what economic principle you're applying over here. So let's say your long run average cost curve is increasing. So what is the reason behind it? What is the economic principle behind it? It's due to diseconomies of scale. So here you need to explain in vice versa condition. So you should be very clear about your what all economic principles are involved in it. Now, the second skill that we're going to talk about is interpretation. So interpretation here means what? The outcome. You need to explain what will be the economic outcome over here. So let's say my income has been increased. So if my income has been increased, what is going to happen to the demand? So let's say demand of normal goods or given goods. And now you need to examine that what will be the change in the equilibrium price and quantity. So you should be able to interpret also, and you should be able to identify that what will be the outcome over here, whether your price is going to equilibrium price is going to increase or whether it is going to decrease. Okay. Now the third skill that we are going to talk about is the manipulation. In this manipulation thing, what used to happen that they'll give you a specific situation over there. So you need to answer, or you need to express your outcome on that particular specific situation. That if this particular situation is there, that what let's say the economy or that particular firm is having the short-run economic losses. So what is going to happen with that particular situation? So it can be long run, short run. So decision making used to differ in every particular situation. So you should be able to answer that what is going to happen in that particular situation. And the last skill that is like most important one, that is your graphing and visual. So whatever economic principle we are learning over here, that you should be able to answer, or you should be able to express that thing with the help of a graph. Okay, and it will create an edge to your exam over it, to your answer over there. Now the next thing that we're going to talk about, the big ideas. So what these big ideas are all about? See, whole economics, if I talk about whole microeconomics, are based on these four big ideas. So if I talk about in every unit, you'll be able to see like one or two big ideas are involved in it. So first big idea is scarcity and market. So if I talk about scarcity and market, see, every problem arises from where you have like scarce resources and you have like unlimited wants, and you need everything, but you do not have that ample amount of resources to fulfill your needs. And there you need to make a choice, and that is all about allocation of choices. And here you need to make the optimal decision where you can use your resources efficiently. That is all about big idea one. Now, big idea two is all about cost, benefit, and marginal analysis. See, there are like very trade-offs. There are trade-offs associated with the decision making, and which influence actually the production, or which influence the decision. And in the particular decision, the marginal analysis plays a very important role. So rather than total cost, marginal cost is considered to be the most efficient tool over here. So every firm or every consumer, every supplier used to treat like marginal analysis as a very important role in the decision making. And whatever decision you're taking, the cost is always associated with it. So you should be able to analyze that when you're choosing this option, what sort of cost you need to pay for it. Okay. Now, the big idea three is all about production, choices, and behavior. As I said earlier, that what is the main aim of a firm? Firm need to minimize their cost and they need to maximize their profit. And this is all procedure used to take place, and they need to work on that because it actually influences your production over here. So what sort of choices you need to make and how they are going to determine their profit maximizing rule over here. So we are going to talk about this in big idea 3, and the last big idea is all about market inefficiency and public policy. See, we are talking about microeconomics, but it doesn't mean that the role of government doesn't make a difference in it, because role of government will be there, but we are talking in the micro level. But the indulgement or the interference of government will always be there when you are running an industry in that particular economy. So see, private players are not that much efficient, or they're not utilizing their resources efficiently. So if there will be like structured public policy will be there, it will help us in the proper allocation of resources. So these four big ideas actually help us to understand what microeconomics is all about. Now, we are going to talk about like details of the exam over here. So this is the exam pattern. So you will have two sections over here, section 1 and section 2. So in section 1, you'll be able to find like multiple choice questions will be there. And there will be like 60 questions, 60 MCQs will be there, and 5 options will be there. So you have to eliminate 4 options and you need to find your answer over there. Now, the time duration that will be given to answer your MCQs will be 70 minutes. So 70 minutes to answer those questions. You have like approximately 1 minute to answer your multiple choice question. And the weightage will be like 66%, 0.65 of your AP exam score. So that is a good weightage for your multiple choice question over here. Now in section 2, they'll be asking free response question where you need to answer everything. And there will be categorization, but there will be in total, there will be 3 free response questions, and 1 long FRQ will be there and 2 short FRQs will be there. So 1 long FRQ here means what, or 2 short FRQs here means what? They will be like sub questions, sub parts of that particular question will also be there that you need to answer. So it is not like an essay question that one question will be there and you just need to explain it. No, they'll be giving you a situation and you need to answer it in different situations. So every concept are interlinked in microeconomics, so they can ask you anything over there. Now the time limit for there will be 60 minutes, and out of the 60 minutes, 10 minutes are always given for planning. In that particular planning time period, you need to understand your question, you need to read it, and you need to examine that what all things you are going to market in that particular answer, what are sort of graph you need to make in it. Okay, so I always prefer that you should utilize that planning time, and then only you should start your exam, but it is not mandatory. If you do not want to use that particular time period, you want to write your answer, so you can. So you have like 60 minutes, and then you need to determine that how much time, like it is considered that 50% of that particular time period should be devoted to the long FRQ, and rest 50% you can divide it into 25% time period of your short FRQs. And the weightage over here is your 33.35% of your AP score. The best part over here is what, that there is no negative penalty, so it is good that you answer all the questions over there. Now what are the skills that they are going to judge in your free response question? See, they'll ask you to make assertion about your economic concept of economic problem over there. They'll ask you to perform a numerical analysis. They'll ask you to prepare a graph and show that how these situation can be portrayed on the graph. So this is all about your details of exams. Now moving ahead, we are going to talk about course content. So if I talk about the course content, there are like 6 major units. So these are like 6 units. Now we are going to talk about each and every unit in detail. So the first unit that we are going to talk about is basic economic concept over here. So if I talk about the weightage of these economic concept over here, it is like 12 to 15% of your AP exam weighting. So it is common for micro and macro both. So if you want to do economics, this unit 1 will be common for you. Now, what are the that we just discussed? What are the skills that we talked about? What are the ideas that we talked about? So there are like 2 big ideas that will be involved in it. So scarcity and market, and the cost benefit and marginal analysis. Now, if I talk about scarcity in market, that means how the individual used to confront the situation of scarcity, and what will be the solution that they're going to find in it. And they are also, in this unit, they're also going to talk about what is the advantage of specialization related to the industry, related to the country, and how they can have the advantages of the comparative advantage. This is absolute or the comparative advantage. That is why the countries used to trade basically. Okay. Now, the second thing is your cost benefit and the marginal analysis. As I have already discussed, that every decision that you're making involves a lot of cost in it. So whenever you are choosing one decision and you're letting go other decisions, so you should be able to analyze that what actually I have lost, that how much cost you have to pay for it. That is known as like your opportunity cost over here. So the if I talk about the individual, if I talk about the firms, they always take like additional cost as a major decision tool, and rather than the total cost or the total benefit, the additional cost plays a very important role. So we are going to discuss this in the unit 1. And if I talk about unit 2, this is all about supply and demand. So you all might have, those who are belonging to the economic background have heard about supply and demand. The weightage is 20 to 25% of your AP exam score. And if I talk about multiple choice question, you'll be having like 20 to 25 multiple choice question from unit 2 and 15 to 20 MCQs from the unit 1. And generally you will be able to find your free response question in the category of short. So short FRQ will be there from unit 1 and unit 2. So again, they're like two skills or two big ideas are there. So scarcity and market, again, the other one is the market inefficiency and public policy. So here in the scarcity and market, you're going to talk about, see, what are the determinants, that why there is a change in a price. So you talk about basically that because of your income, because of your preferences, because of your change in supply, change in demand. You also talk about the elasticities over here in detail. So price elasticity. So you always determine that what are the reasons that the price of a product used to change or used to fluctuate. Then the second category is all about market inefficiency and public policy. See, taxes and subsidies, if I talk about, like government policy plays a very important role. So here you determined about like what is the role of an excise tax and what is the role of a lump sum tax over here, and due to which what happens to your quantity over there, and what happens, how it is going to affect your marginal cost or it affect your total cost. You should be able to examine, or you should be able to answer it. Will your quantity changes or will your quantity does not change? So that is why we are going to talk about this in your government policy. The third unit that we are going to talk about is the production cost and the perfect competition model. See, what is the productivity? Production here means you're talking about the productivity over here, and cost. Whenever you're producing something, cost is also always associated with it. So you talk about like productivity and the cost, and I told you the marginal analysis plays a very important role rather than the total cost over here. And you talk about perfect competition model. So from here onwards, we are going to start the market structure. So market structure, the first market structure that we're going to talk about is the perfect competition. So you can have like 15 to 20 MCQs over here, and you can have around like, generally you have short FRQs, but if I talk about perfect competition model, you can have your long FRQ also from it. And here you actually determine that what is the profit maximizing output condition, that firms used to decide that how much output I should produce and what should be the pricing. And on the basis of this, you determine that the firm will having economic losses, the firm will be facing economic profit, or firm should shut down. So what is the decision that is involved in it? So these are the decisions that is related to the reality check also. So it always help you in your, whenever you're doing your business or whenever you're performing some task, it always help you to make the decision. Now, the fourth unit that we are going to talk about is imperfect competition. So the perfect competition, we have discussed about the market structure that is like perfect competitive, that is like allocative and distributive or productive efficiency is always there with the perfect competition. But in reality, it does not happen. There are like many market structure. If I talk about monopoly, if I talk about monopolistic, if I talk about oligopoly, these are not considered to be like efficient enough. So there are like some inefficiencies are always involved in it. If I talk about like dead weight loss, if I talk about excess capacity. So here you talk about every market structure, either monopoly, oligopoly in detail. You talk about the payoff matrix over here, how they used to make decision in that particular decision, what sort of cost is going to involve in it, whether they are going to earn economic profit or whether they are going to face economic losses over here. So we are going to talk about this in the imperfect competition. And the weightage is like 15 to 22%. And generally, or mostly, you are going to get a long FRQ from this imperfect competition. So monopoly and monopolistic and the oligopoly should be ready with how to answer your free response question also. Now the unit 5 is all about factor market. See, whatever you're producing, factor of inputs are always associated with it. And for involving these factor of input, you need to make factor payment to them. Okay, so this is all things are interlinked, as I said earlier. The weightage of here will be like 10 to 13% of your AP exam. Can find, you will be getting short FRQ generally from this unit, and you'll be getting like 10 to 15 multiple choice questions from here. Now, here the question arises that what prices for resources determine prices for resources. Let's say how much wages I should pay to the labor. So you're talking about a perfect competitive market. So in that particular market, how much wages I should pay to the labor, and how much labor I should hire. This is also a biggest question that need to be answered. So they always determine that how much input we should hire. So here particularly you talk about like marginal revenue product also and marginal factor cost. So every firm wants that they should have like more of revenue with that particular input, and they should have lesser cost, but it does not happen. And laborers are happy with the wages or not. You have to see that part also. So in this particular factor market, you are going to talk about the decision related to the factor of input involved in the production. The last particular unit is all about market failures and the role of government. As I told you, if you're talking about the micro level, it doesn't mean that the government is not going to indulge or intervene in this particular market. So government interference is always there, and the exam weightage is all about 18 to 13%, and one long FRQ mostly is also there from unit 6, and less of MCQs will be there, like 8 to 10 MCQs generally you will be able to see from this particular unit. And they all talk about, see, why do markets fail? So as I told you that private players are not that much efficient, that they are using their resources efficiently. So there comes the role of the government, that how government used to intervene and how government want how government forces in the direct or indirect way that the firms are efficiently utilizing their resources. So you should they in this we are going to talk about externalities also. So positive, negative externalities. We are going to talk about the public goods also, and we are also going to talk about that what is the role of the government when the private players are not able to use their resources efficiently. So you are going to talk about taxes. What is the role of taxes over here, and what is the role of subsidy? Then how it actually promotes more of production over here. So these are the six unit that we have divided, and the weightage also I have discussed over here. Now we are going to discuss that what are the strategies that we should follow about your free response question, because multiple choice question, if your content, if your concepts are clear, we will be able to answer multiple choice questions. But student always have a doubt that how we should answer our like free response question over here. So these are some key points that you can keep in mind while you're answering your FRQ. So first one is you take advantage of the 10-minute planning. So as I already said, out of that 60 minutes, they are going to give you 10 minutes to plan that how you're going to proceed further, because you should be very clear what they are asking. Okay, so if you answer in brief, but you're answering the correct point, they will give you the score over there. They'll give you the marks over there. But you should be able to answer it correctly, and you should know where you need to do the numerical part, where you need to perform the numerical part, where you can give your answer more efficiently with the help or with the use of graph. So always take the advantage of it. So never skip that this time, 10 minutes planning time over there. Now whatever answer you were answering, it is not necessary that you should answer in particular order, but it is mostly it is preferable that you answer in that particular order only, but it is not necessary. What you can do, you can leave a space, leave a few lines over there, and then you can come back after doing the remaining question. Then you can come back to the question that you haven't answered over there, and then you can answer, but it is not necessary. Now don't restate the question, because you have like limited space over there, so no extra sheet will be provided to you. So don't restate the question. They know the question is already written, so just mark or just state whatever they're answering. So if they're answering that what will happen to your equilibrium price and quantity, so you can answer that much also. It is going to increase or it is going to decrease. Okay. Now use correct terminology. See, in the free response question, they will ask you to mark like profit as your PM or QM. So whatever they're giving you the names over there. So it is very necessary you're marking that particular name on your Excel. So whenever you're drawing a graph, you should be able to mark each and everything. So you have an habit of drawing a graph. You should also have an habit of marking it, your axis, that what your x-axis is representing or what your y-axis is representing. So it is always better that you use correct terminology, whatever they're asking. Is it going to affect your marginal cost? Is it going to affect your average variable cost? So most appropriate, whatever the terminology should be there. So you should be able to use that. As I have already said that you should be able to use your graphs wisely. See, wisely here means what over here? See, in a few questions, they are going to ask you that please prepare a graph or please draw a graph labeling this and this. That sometime in most of the question they're not going to answer it. But if you read that question and you know that with the help of a graph, I will be able to answer it more efficiently. So it is always preferable that you can draw a graph. But whatever you are drawing, please make sure that all the things you have labeled is absolutely correct. Okay, so do not take a risk in that particular thing. Okay, now we are going to move ahead, and now I'm going to talk about like exams mode. So you have like in this particular year you have like paper based also and the digital based also. So it is going to offered in your early May, that is 12th of May, and you have like digital exams also in your school, also in at home also in late of May and the early June, like 28th May is the date has been given by the college board. Okay. Now both, if you opt for like digital exam and if you're going to opt for your paper based exam also, the number of multiple choice question and the number of free response question will be same. So there will be like no change that there will be only MCQ or only FRQ. No, the pattern is going to be same. So it will contain like multiple choice question and it will contain free response section also, and the same number of question will also be same. Now, the third point is all about calculators aren't permitted. So, no calculators aren't permitted on your paper exam or digital exam. They'll frame the question like this, like calculator doesn't give an advantage to the student. So, no, because basic calculations are there in microeconomics, so not such great calculations are there. So, there is no need to use the calculator also. You can generally, it is just like a division multiplication, simple that you perform. Okay, so no calculators are allowed. The next point is all about that on the digital exam, the free response question not to be like, it's not to be like handwritten. You have to type your free response question over there. So handwritten answer won't be working over here. Now student also have a doubt that in when we are opting for the digital exam, how we are going to prepare a graph. So in that particular section, when you're giving the digital based exam, you do not need to draw a graph. Your skills are going to check by, they are going to give you the diagrams, or they are going to give you the graph, and they are going to portray or they are going to frame the question in that sense only. So there is no need to draw the graph in that if you're performing the digital exam. Okay. Next, we are going to talk about exam state as it is already there in the college board. Now, if I talk about the resources particularly, so ample amount of resources are available on your college board also. I'll show you in a while. And then the books that you can refer can be like Princeton Review, can be Barron's, or can be like Five Steps to a Five. So by Eric Dodge. So it is also available. So every reference book you will be able to find multiple. You will be able to find like mocks and practice tests are also there. So you can go through it, and it is very important that you practice ample amount of paper, because it will create an habit that how you're going to answer your free response question or how you're going to answer your multiple choice question over here. Now, if I just show you just a minute on the College Board website. One minute. See, on the College Board website, you will be able to see everything over here. So just a minute, I'll just open it. Okay, so you will be able to see like last year's or previous year free response questions are also available over here. So free response questions are available, and it is also always good to refer your scoring guidelines also. So when you have answered, let's say a free response question, always going to check that how much the score. Let's say you have draw a graph, so how much score will be given to you, like 1 score, 2 score, and it has been divided like this. When you're going to expand it all, so you'll get a lot of free response question available on the College Board website also. A lot of resources are available for free on the College Board website, so you can go through it at any point of time. So whatever information that has been given by the College Board website is like very crucial. So always go and visit this website on the daily basis, so that any changes are done. So you will be get informed about it. Okay, so that's all from my side. And if you have like any queries, we can go for it. If you have like any questions that you want to ask.
Yeah, I think there are a few questions in the Q&A feature.
Okay. So what resources or textbook website videos you can help that we can help for the preparation of AP microeconomics? As I told you, there are like various resources that are available. So if I talk about textbook, you can refer to Princeton Review, you can refer to your balance, and you can refer to the book by Eric Dodge also. So and website, College Board website has like freely available free response question, and all those resources that are there in your when you're referring to a textbook, so you will have like practice tests also available over there, so you can go for it. Now, the next question is our class 10th and 12th economics textbook that we have taught in our school is sufficient to prepare for this exam? No. See, when you're talking about AP, so college level books are going to work over here, not this school level, because the exam pattern is totally changes from your school and from your college. So I'll prefer that college level books, you should go for it. Is Khan Academy microeconomics study material enough to get at least a score of 4? So that depends upon your caliber also, but I don't think like only videos can help you. Videos are always helpful, but only videos are not helpful. So I'll prefer that you should go and go through your textbook also. Okay. Now the next one is you should take this AP if you want to pursue a career in medical field. See, I'll explain it over here. See, economics is all about like interdisciplinary approach. So when you're going to any field, like decision making is always involved in it. Na? So when you're going to a medical field, you're opening your hospital, let's say. So then also your economics is going to support for you. So it will create an edge. So you can go for it, no issues. Do we have to make the graph in pencil or pen? So that is your preference. You can make it with the pencil or you can make it with the pen, but it is more preferable to make it with pencil because you can erase it if it is wrong. So I'll be taking the at-home AP exam. Can you please allude on how it is going to affect the format of the microeconomics paper? No, the paper pattern is going to be same. If you're taking at home, if you're taking at your school, the pattern is not going to change. Now, what are the best books that you can suggest? I've already suggested. And will there be any some sort of preparation software? No, for practicing, no softwares are available. So as I told you, you can go through the resources that are available freely. So free response question and your multiple choice question, so you'll get test papers that are always there in your textbook also, so you can go through that also. No more question, I think.
Yeah, I think you've answered all the questions by now, and I think there is one more.
Okay, let me just check it. So is there any way to access AP Classroom without an AP class? No, you have to log in and then only you can go through it. Okay, so they're like, but videos are available for free on your College Board website. If you will look, the AP videos are available for free. So you can go through that videos. No more question.
Yes, no more questions yet. So, students, please feel free to post your questions if you have any. And yeah.
So the more you will practice, actually what happens, the more you will practice, then only you'll get an idea that how they are going to ask you the question, because it is totally different. The questioning pattern is totally different from the school and the college level. So
Right.
here, the books that you're going to refer will be the college level only. One more question is there. What do you suggest, digital or paper exam? See, it's up to you, but I'll prefer like paper exam is the most convenient one. So it's up to you. You can choose your digital one also because the pattern is going to be same. So if I talk about MCQs and FRQs, they will be there in the exam. But I prefer like paper exam is most convenient one.
I feel students are pretty much clear as of now. And yeah, I think there's one more.
Okay, one more. Okay, so can you please write the name of the book that had mentioned other than Princeton and Barron's? Okay. It is like Five Steps to a Five by Eric Dodge. So it will be available online also, so you can go through it. So Five Steps to a Five. They have a question bank also on the multiple choice question, so you can practice from that book also.
Ma'am, please feel free to give your closing remarks if you feel.
Okay, so if I talk about microeconomics, students have a doubt that they do not have an economics background, so they should go for it or not. They should go for it, and they're like no such things are there, no prerequisites are there that you are not having economics background or you should go for it or not. You should go for it, and it is going to help you in any sort of stream that you're going to follow. Now it is going to help you. So it is a general subject that is going to help you in your real life decisions also. So economics is very fruitful, and I will prefer that it is always preferred that you should choose AP microeconomics or AP macroeconomics when you are in 11th or 12th standard. It will be easier for you to understand the concept. But if you're in like 9th or 10th grader also, then also you can go for it. So no issues with that. But preferred one is like 11th or 12th graders. One more question I think we have. Thank you so much. Okay. So I think all the questions are basically
Yes.
covered.
Yes, and thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And as mentioned by the students, for a very detailed session on AP microeconomics. And as you said, the more they practice, is the more they're
Yes.
gonna have questions. So
Yes.
I'm sure that would be helpful. And all right, so I think I'll just wait for a minute more to see if anybody wants to post anything. And I would like to thank you once again.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much.
We have also gone live on our YouTube. So if students you all want to access the session once again and go through it, this would be on our YouTube channel, the Next Genius Foundation, and you all can have a quick run through again through the session whenever you all want.
Email ID they're asking for. Email ID is already available. So SatnPaper email ID is always available. So you can ask your queries over there, and we will be glad to answer all those questions.
All right, then thank you so much, ma'am, once again for your time.
You're
And we look
welcome.
forward to having another session with you in the future.
Sure,